Now, where the pain is will tell you what you're resisting to a large degree. So where is your pain?
Well, it's basically all over my body, but it's more starting from the lumbar vertebra down the legs. Yes, but there's also...
Can I tell you what that's all about?
Not moving forward, sorry.
No, it's not about not moving forward. It's about, you see, from a very young age, your sense of worth has been attacked. Not just suppressed, but attacked overtly by in particular your mother, right?
Yes.
And you've also had this other problem because it's been attacked by your mother. You often have been attacked in the past by spirits as well during your sleep state, which causes you to not get much rest. In other words, you're always trying to wake up because you don't like what's happening when you're asleep.
Yes.
And as a result, you don't get much physical rest either. Does that make sense?
That's right.
Now, all of this is occurring because of the pain of this is occurring because of the feeling inside of you that you're not going to cope with how bad you feel about yourself.
Yes.
Does that make sense? So it's about your self-worth.
Yes.
Right? And that's why it's starting at the small of your back, right down the bottom of your back there. Is because it's all about your worth and how you see your worth. And much of your emotional pain relates to your worth. Does that make sense?
Yes.
And so this is the emotion, the grief that you're in denial of or trying to remain in denial of at times, right? Is how bad you feel about yourself.
Yes.
And you haven't wanted to, up until recently, you haven't wanted to even face it, let alone feel it. So you haven't even wanted to acknowledge it was there, let alone feel it. You've been aware that there's been issues. You've withdrawn from society a lot in your life.
Yes.
You've stayed away from people a lot in your life. And these are all the results of you trying to avoid this emotion of how bad you feel about yourself when you're with people. Does that make sense?
Yes, that's right.
Yeah. And that grief that is right there now, that's the grief you need to let yourself feel if you want the pain to reduce. When you suppress this grief, the pain in your body will intensify.
Yes.
Does that make sense?
Thank you.
Yeah. And so unless you allow that grief to come and surface and allow yourself to process through it, you'll find this lower back pain and the pain in other parts of your body, the muscular parts of your body, will increase until you allow it to yourself to experience. Now understand that this is not you getting worse. Do you understand?
Yes.
This is actually you've gone from the point of denying every pain. And in the last year that I've known you, you've gone from the point of the last few years I've known you, you've gone from the denial of all of your pain into the acceptance that you have pain.
Yes.
And the acceptance you have some emotional issues or injuries, into an awareness of those emotional issues and injuries, and an awareness of the pain, and then even a desire when you went and saw this man, a desire to actually start addressing it at a physical and an emotional level.
Yes.
So this is quite good progress, Catherine. Does that make sense?
Well, yes, I'm pleased you're telling me this because I was getting in a bit of despair.
Yeah, this is good progress. And there is more progress to make in regard to it, but think about it this way. You've so far spent 2 months of this really hard process in 68 years.
Yes.
So what's that in terms of a percentage?
Very little.
Right, it's probably about 1/5 of a percent or something like that in terms of time, if you like.
Yes.
Now, even if it takes you 1 year, you've only spent 2% of your life working your way through an issue that for 99% of your life or 98% of your life you denied.
And restricted my life.
Yeah.
Completely, yes.
And that's not a bad percentage when you think about it. Does that make sense?
Of course, yes.
Yeah. But you see, when we're going through it, we don't think of it that way.
No.
When we're going through it, it feels like a nightmare. And when we're going through it, we think that there's something major wrong. But the reality is, the thing that's been major wrong was the 68 years of suppression.
Yes.
That's the major wrong. That's where all the harm was done. And now you're in a process of undoing that harm. Does that make sense?
Yes.
But it will be painful because you've denied the pain for that period of time. And it's like holding on to that thing and holding it there, denying the pain of it, and then all of a sudden you realise you're holding it, you take the thing out of your arm and then you try to let go of your arm, and now there's all this physical pain that you didn't even feel before. It's the same process emotionally. Mm-hmm. You'll actually go through a period where you become conscious of the pain that you've put yourself through or that others put you through.
Yes.
Yeah. And that's a part of the way of release. And it's also a part of the path to God, unfortunately, when we come from a condition where we've been suppressed.
Yes.
Yeah. If we had all been grown up, if we had all perfect parents who were all at one with God before we came to the earth, we wouldn't have to go through all of that. We'd only go through the pain of what we created. But because we've had this multi-generational injuries passed down, by the time we're 5, 6, 7 years of age, we're very suppressed. We've then carried on a life of suppression. We're going to, once we go through this emotional process, we're going to feel it's quite extreme. And it is quite extreme.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
And that's the way it will be.
Thank you.
Yeah. And like I've had those emotionally extreme processes. So when I've talked about emotional processing with most people, they have no idea what I'm talking about yet. Yeah. Because they haven't gone through this process that you're now going through. Now that you're going through this process, this is the kind of process I've been through. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And it is very painful physically, very painful emotionally, and yet, if you think about it in terms of time, it's not a very large time in terms of the comparison with your life. So the key is to continue learning from the experience. So when you feel this pain, understand that that's a denial of a certain emotion. So in particular, this pain with your muscular system and the lower back, this is in particular the denial of the emotional pain associated with why you wanted to withdraw from society, which was all about how bad you feel about yourself, which is all about what your mum has said and done to you in your childhood. That's the pain you're going to now need to let yourself experience, which is going to be emotional. So it's going to be a grieving process. When you allow that grieving process to occur, you will have less physical pain.
Thank you.
When you shut down that grieving process, because you're now conscious, consciously aware of the relationship between emotional pain and physical pain, there will be an awareness of the physical pain that results.